All right, so today we're gonna take a close look at this Dreo Nomad One. This is a 36 inches tall tower fan. Now, as of recording this video, this has almost 15,000 reviews at a 4.6 star rating. That's pretty good. And I think this month alone, there was about 70,000 purchased. So I think it's safe to say this is probably a quality product. A lot of people are satisfied with it. I mean, we ourselves, we've got two of these guys. So we really like the fan. I want to go ahead and go over the functionality, how well is it working, and then I'll cover kind of the tech on here, how all that functions. And yeah, I'll show you guys if this is the right fan for you. All right, so starting with the most important feature, let's talk about airflow. Now, you probably won't even realize it, but this is on actually next to me, blowing at the lowest setting. You can barely hear it. It's super quiet on the low settings. And even with the mic next to the wind, you probably don't really hear it. Now the LCD turns off when you haven't messed with it for a little bit, but if I press a button, you'll see the screen comes back on and it shows a 1. Now the 1 is the fan speed. This has 4 different speeds. So if we turn it up, you're gonna start to hear it. It does have a remote, so we'll use that. So we're at 2 now, we can go to 3, and then we go all the way to 4, and then you can probably hear that. It is a little bit louder at 4. Turn it back down to 1. Now even at 4, it's not too loud. It's still fairly quiet. It's not gonna be distracting. You could still watch a movie with this fan on, or you could sleep, you know. It's definitely not distracting. We've upgraded from older fans, and those were much louder. A lot of them would be, the same fan speed, the same power, but quite a bit louder. So I would say this is a good little upgrade for us compared to fans we've used previously. So just real quick as a comparison, this is our old fan, which we're upgrading from to the new fan. You can see it's quite a lot larger, and it's not any more efficient or better, despite being a lot larger. It's also not as sturdy. It's louder too, it rattles, and just the fan overall is much noisier. You can definitely hear it now, despite not being any better. They're both pretty equal in terms of how much power and how much it's gonna cool you down. So all that to say, we're just really impressed to see how the technology has advanced and become more efficient and just better in pretty much every area. So how well does it cool and how far does it reach? Well, first of all, it does have this 90-degree swivel, so it'll automatically rotate 90 degrees, which can pretty much cover an entire room. And to do that, you just have to press this button here, and it'll start rotating automatically. So not only will it cover a 90-degree area, we have a pretty large living room here, and if we put this on one corner of the living room and blow it all the way to the opposite across to the couch over here, I mean, you can still feel the breeze really well. And so for us, it covers a large surface area, pretty much the entire room. Any room you put it in, you're gonna feel it from across the room. So it does work really well in that regard as well. All right, so we've covered the airflow and noise. Next, let's talk about kind of the features and functionality here you have on the LED display. It is touchscreen, and you do have the remote, which I prefer to use, so let's grab that. So for starters, here is the remote. It's really well designed. It feels and looks nice, and you can control everything on the fan with just this remote. So you have a few buttons here, and that's gonna take care of everything. Enough with the remote though, let's look at this touchscreen screen, and I'll go over each feature. So we'll start here from the top. Now this top button here is gonna start rotating our fan 90 degrees, just like that. You tap it once, and it starts going. Next, underneath rotation is your timer, and this will turn off the fan at the end of the time, and you can set this hourly. So it starts at 0, you can move it up to 1, all the way up to 8 hours. So you select your desired hour, you'll see we have 8 hours selected, and then you'll see it'll switch back to our fan speed, and you can see this little timer symbol now is lit up, and that means our timer is going. So in 8 hours, this fan will power down. Under that is our simple power button, on and off. Next to power, we have fan speed, and as I said before, there's 4 different fan speeds, pretty self-explanatory. 4 will be your max, and 1 will be your lowest speed. And moving on to our last button here, this is our mode selector. So we have 4 different modes to choose from. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated, and you just tap this to cycle through the different modes. You'll see these 4 icons here that is indicating each mode. So the 4 different modes from left to right, we have normal, which it's on currently. The next one over is natural, then you have sleep, and then you have auto. So normal mode, pretty self-explanatory. It's just gonna run the fan normally at whatever speed you set it to. The next mode over from normal is natural, and this will cycle randomly through the 4 different speeds. So you'll hear it get a little bit louder and a little bit quieter as you hear it kind of naturally cycling. All right, next mode up here is sleep mode, and this one's interesting. Now you'll see, when you turn sleep mode on, you'll see the audio now is muted, and if we're not on sleep mode, by default, this fan has a noise it'll play. You can hear now. Whenever you tap something, it makes a loud beep. And if you set it to sleep mode, by default, that'll be off. So that's nice for when you're sleeping. You also have the remote here. You can just mute the fan and it'll permanently just be muted anytime you use it. I prefer that mode, so that's what it's been set to. Now the key feature with sleep mode is every 30 minutes it will decrease the fan speed by 1, and it will do this 2 times and then settle on whatever speed it ends with. So if you have this all the way cranked up to 4 and it's on sleep mode, in 30 minutes it's going to go down to 3, and then in another 30 minutes it's going to go down to 2, and then it'll stay there for the rest of the night. Now if you have this on 3, it'll stay at 1, it'll end on 1. By the time you wake up, it'll be at 1. This will help you conserve energy while you're sleeping, and once you're asleep, you probably don't need it on the max setting. Kind of cool. And then our last mode here will be auto, and this says that it adapts to the ambient temperature. So depending on how warm or cool your room is, will determine how fast the fans are going. So that covers all our settings here on the screen. I love how this screen functions and looks. It just looks really nice, and the remote is equally as beautiful and just so easy to use. Everything about this I love. Another cool feature I feel is worth mentioning is on the back here, you have this little handle. You can slip your fingers in here and then kind of rotate it and easily pick up the fan if you want to adjust where it's pointing. You also, for maintenance purposes, just have a single screw back here. You can unscrew this and take off the entire back plate, clean the back plate, and then dust the inside of the fan using a vacuum. So just a quick dust, this will be good as new and will last you many years to come. So I think it's really cool how they made it very easy to maintain. So there you have it. That about covers everything I wanted to go over with this little high-tech fan. I think it's an awesome product. We're really impressed with it, and I think you guys will like it too. If you do want to check out the fan or purchase it, there's an affiliate link down in the description you can use, and that does help support the channel as well. Hopefully this video helped you guys, and thank you so much for watching.